Hey guys, Angela here. Welcome back to the channel. Has there ever been a craft item that you wanted really badly? Maybe something you've seen everybody else use and you want to use it in your own journal. But once you got it, you found you never use it. You like it so much you hoard it. That thing for me really is anything craft. But especially these little craft bags. Craft bags and envelopes really get me. This weekend though, I watched a video by Sandra. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. From Blossom and Inspire. And it inspired me to make my own little craft bags. Let's get started. So, the cool thing about these is that they don't only have to be craft bags, right? They can be any kind of bag. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm just changing the lighting up a bit. So, when I watched the video, I can't remember what type of paper she first did it with, but I like to start everything out with book page. That way, if I really mess it up, then I've lost nothing but a page in a book. Because I have, on several occasions, just started with full pages of scrapbook paper or what have you, and totally messed them up. So, book page. But this was my first one. And then after I made the little bag, I made a little journal card to go inside. This is just stickles on it. But I kept going. I made another one. Another journal card. I think this one's my favorite. I think it's the coolest. And then just on and on and on. And you can see that they're in different sizes. So you don't have to keep to the same size. It actually has writing or lines on the back for journaling. So all different shapes, sizes. It can be shorter, longer, out of any type of paper. This is just out of a book on flowers. But it never dawned on me to do a craft bag until this weekend. No, I'm sorry, until this morning. And then I said, oh, I have to do this. I have to try it. And I thought I'd turn on the camera and let you do it with me. But this is the second time I've done it. This is the second recording because I cut the wrong side of the paper. One thing I have learned, however, in paper crafting is that regardless of any mistakes that you make, it is fixable. And had I really wanted to fix that one, I could, but I wanted to show you the correct method for making this bag, or at least the method by which I learned. So if you're going to go craft along with me, you need, obviously, some scissors, pinking shears or other decorative scissors to make the cut around the top of the bag, craft paper or regular paper. I have found, however, though, that heavier paper like cardstock or heavy scrapbook paper does not work well with this project because of all the folds, so some lighter weight paper. I'm going to be using a scoreboard and a trimmer. Glue, of course, of your choice. And I think that's about it. That'll get us started anyway. So, I'm using a part of a grocery bag from Prime, or from Amazon, for my paper bag, for my craft bag. And the first thing that we are going to do is cut it. And the measurements here, and they are a little bit different. I will link her video below, but the measurements that I am using are a little bit different from the measurements she used. She used, I believe, 8¼ by 3½ or something like that. I'm going to use 8½ by 3½. So let's do it this way first. Yeah, I was just a little bag making full this weekend. And about the hoarding, you know what? I think that someone needs to create, this is not straight, I'm going to even it up a bit, a 12-step program for paper craft hoarders. I have it everywhere. I started scrapbooking in 2002, probably around actually earlier than that, around 2000. And I still have stuff that I haven't used from that. And I'm talking and not paying attention. I don't know what I'm doing. 3½. That's where I am. 3½ to make you laugh. And I watch everyone, and everyone has the same problem. So if you can figure out how to eliminate that, you'd be really successful, I think. So here's our paper, 8½ by 3½. Now, I didn't really talk about the pattern or the what's on your paper, if it's plain paper, blank paper, or if it has a pattern. But it matters, because what we're going to end up doing to make the bag is fold, right, to make the top of the bag. So if there's anything here, it's going to show up. If let's say I were to fold it this way, then of course I'd have this. It may not matter, you may not care, you may want that. You may be decorating the outside, so it doesn't matter one bit. But that is something to consider, which I did not consider when I was cutting this, but luckily it is going to work. So I am going to fold it this way. And I think that my little decorative cut at the top is going to take care of this itty bitty prime. So, have my piece of paper. Next, I'm going to grab the scoreboard. You don't have to have a scoreboard. You can fold it. You can use a ruler, your fingernail. So the first score we're going to make is where we are going to fold it. And that really depends on your personal preference. How much of a reveal do you want? How much of this part of the bag do you want to show? This one, for example, you can see has a little more space than this one. Again, personal preference, but that determines where your score line goes. Fold it this way, up this. So I think I am going to do it. If I did it at 4½, let's do it at 4½. And you know what? If we don't like it at 4½, we can come back and do it somewhere else. But that's fine. 4½ is fine for me. So after you get that line scored, you're going to come back and score each side at ½ inch to create the gusset. And then you can put your scoreboard away. In the last video, I was calling it a scorecard, which made sense because I said I was batting 0 for 1 with my video. So, we're going to fold. remember we're going to fold this way. So our sides are going to fold in this way. Sometimes though, I wonder why I use a scoreboard, because even with a scoreboard, my folds like that aren't straight, and we may have to do some adjusting. But fold it up, and this is what I mean by adjusting. See how, I don't know if you can see that, but there's this hangover. All I must do is fold it in a little more. And as with anything, practice makes progress. So the more often you do it, the easier it'll get, and the better you'll be at it. So there we have it. There's the batter. And you know me, I understand perfection is not a thing and is not achievable, but I want it to be as close to as possible. So there we go. So here's our bag. A few things you may notice. First of all, we don't want these little flaps showing. We want to take care of that. And secondly, we don't want it so bulky. So the first thing we're going to do is on the where I messed up on the first video, on the short, nope, see, I was about to do it again. On the, nope, I had it right the first time. On the short side, we are going to cut. This is what your paper looks like. We're going to cut these pieces off. So that's the short side. So on the score line, up to the score line, but not past the score line. Up to the score line, not past the score line. And this happens to me every time, and I don't want to rip it. I don't want to pull it because I'm afraid it'll tear it. Up to the score line. I can't cut a straight line to save my life. But luckily, as I said, everything is fixable. And we can just fix that baby right up. Okay, maybe not. That was a little harder than I thought. Okay. So now you should have something that looks similar to this. And boy, can you see how I can't cut a straight line. So two things I've noticed. Over here, I'm over. Let's see, maybe there's two things we can do. No, okay. On this one I'm over, and on this one I've cut too much. So we're gonna go back to Alfoldo technique and fold until we get it right, so we don't have any, but we have some hanging off we can cut. There we have it. Go ahead and burnish that really well, and then I can see where I can trim over here. Okay, so we still have these little flaps we need to take care of, and I always cut just when you cut this right here, it's going to make a decorative edge, but if you don't cut these far enough down, I guess is the right way to say that, they will show through. So I'm going to cut even a little further. So I can mark it, but I want to cut it about right there. This one's hard. Oh, ooh, I almost just cut the whole thing. So, there we go. Cut a little bit of this. Okay. Then the next cut you're going to make is with your pinking shears or decorative scissors. I have some decorative scissors. I tried to use those as opposed to my nice pinking shears, but yeah, they must have been El Cheapo. They did not work. There's the first cut we're gonna make. And because we don't want so much bulk down here when we're folding it, it's not a bad idea to, and even up here, to cut some of this off. I'm going to do this decorative cut up here. Yeah, that's good enough for me. I don't really care for this. And next, I'm going to glue it shut. And I'm using art glitter glue here. You can use whichever glue you prefer. Although I don't think that glue stick would work. Yeah, it would seal it, but I don't know how long it would stay sealed. Even with Scotch Create. Bag number 1 down. So then if you're like me, nothing is complete. So you give it a little ink, a little distressing. And we'll let it dry while we make another one. Shall we? We shall. After we close the glue. Because let me tell you that sometimes I do not do that. And I wonder why my glue gets all stuck and hard and doesn't come out. Let's see. What is the size of this? Oh yeah, gonna work. I said, oh yeah, gonna work, and it's not. So we're going to let's check this one out, this will work. To cut this little edge off. So 8.5. By 3.5, and I don't know about you guys, but once you start this junk journaling adventure, you can never seem to throw any paper away. And everyone brings you paper. At least in my household, they bring me all the cereal boxes, all the toilet paper rolls, anything they think I may use. In fact, something kind of funny. Well, I'm going to save it because we're going to make a journal. We're going to do it together, and I'm not going to tell you until then, so you have to wait because it's kind of cute. So now you have, again, 8.5 by 3.5. We want to see where we're going to fold it. Luckily, this is going to work just fine for me. I don't mind this line here. It might actually add to the character. Okay, just didn't look right. Scoreboard line. Where am I going to fold it? Do it. 4 3/8 this time. And that's what's kind of nifty. You can change it up. If you don't like the size, make it a different size. And then 1/2 inch all the way down on both sides. Bye bye handy dandy scoreboard. Hello paper. My fold is obviously not straight. Yeah, I don't know why I use a scoreboard because sometimes my folds still aren't straight. So let's fold the inside folds. I did not leave very much of a reveal at all on that one. But we can take care of that really quickly. See, I told you nothing is not fixable. Ah, much better. Okay. So we want to get rid of our flaps here. Well, the first thing we want to do, I guess, let's go in order, is get rid of these sides. I can already tell you I cut too much on that one. So we'll be getting an opportunity to fix. Can correct it with the fold. Play with it, talk to it. Put it in its place. There we go. I do see though that this isn't straight. Okay, so get rid of the flap time. first cut we want to make is this decorative cut to the front. Oh, we left a part out. And that is cutting these side flaps for the bulk. And doing that up here as well. Now we're going to cut. There we have it. And then we're going to do the top. Let's see. Messed it up a little bit, but I can mess it up on the other side, then it'll be messed up on both sides. They'll match. You see what I did? See? Okay. Instead of just doing this all over again or editing it out, I'm going to keep it in. Because this is a good example of fixing your goof ups. There, it's better. Oh, now this is so big. This by the time we get down, we'll keep cutting and cutting. I actually think that Sandra on her video was saying something about this is why you didn't want her to cut your hair, because she'd just keep cutting and cutting and there wouldn't be any left. That's kind of what it's like. But there, I like that. So more fluid. I'll take it. I'll take it, the woman said. Obviously my brain was not working. That's much larger than a ½ inch. It's probably what caused some of my problems. Oh well, end result. All good. The bag. So, we've made 2 bags. Close the glue. Important, important. The 2 bags that I made on the first video that you're not seeing are these. I stuck a sticker on that. And these are the 2 that we just made. Now, I thought about decorating them, but what I thought might be even more fun would be to make a journal card. And so that's what we're gonna do. And let me ink this one. Sometimes I find it easier to have a base for my journal card, something that I paste glue onto, kind of collage is a good word for it, collage onto. And in this case, this happens to fit perfectly right in there. So we're going to use this Chewy coupon because I'm not going to order dog food off Chewy or cat food. Oh, and I'm not even going to use that for that. We're going to use this book page because I love book page, and this is some really, really old book page. Hopefully it can withstand this process. I am now going to use my Scotch Create glue stick. And for ease and time, I'm just going to use this other half, but we're going to do a little something extra to it. So, if you don't, there's a really cool trick, and I use it a lot because it just looks more natural, and that is to take a sandpaper block, for example, and just and it just comes right off. And I don't have to worry about making a cut or anything. Although it is pretty simple. You have a template right there to make a cut. But I just like this. Even though I do warn you, it is messy. So there we have a little journal card. Let's close the glue. Close the glue, Angela. And to make sure that there's space for people to journal on here, we're gonna add a little lined paper. Two inches, so maybe 1. And 3/4. Let's see what that looks like. Perfect. And maybe 2 1/4. Nope, not enough. Nope. Don't like it. What did I say? That was 2 3/4. Oh, because it needs to be more like almost 3. So 2 5 2 7 5. A bit more than that. Duh, Angela. Even that's not right. Okay. Third time's a charm here. Yay! And then before I put this on here, I'm going to give it a quick ink. This is Distress ink in walnut stain, in case you're wondering. Go ahead and glue it up. Stick it on to the side. that I want it to be on, which I think is this side. And then I have one more trick up my sleeve. And as you can tell from these that I made earlier, I think this is really cool. This little tab topper. So let's make one of those for this card. Lots of different ways you can do this. I am going to use a tab patch. Let me correct myself. I think I'm going to use a tab patch. From this way. Okay. Get it in here just right. I'm just not having any luck today, am I? Forget that. Let's do it a bigger piece of paper. It doesn't like it because it's folded and so thick. But if you want me to do it the old school way, I will. Sorry if you hear that clapping in the background. I think dogs are going outside. Yes, we have 2 dogs and a cat, and one of the dogs, Jack, is old and he can barely hear, so you have to do a lot to get his attention, such as clap. And he can't walk down the stairs by himself. He has to be carried. It's just, it's sad. You know, we love our fur babies as much as our... Though I question that sometimes. No, I'm just playing. I think that I would like the corner rounded. Corners rounded on this. Before we put the tab on. Now the only difference with having to cut the tabs out individually as opposed to having them folded is you just have to glue them on individually, which is really no big deal. The other way is just, I don't know, easier, the lazy way out, I guess, maybe. cute is that? And I usually stitch, but I'm not gonna stitch this, I don't believe. Obviously you don't have to. You don't need a sewing machine. But it does look cute, I think, if you do stitch. But I think we need a word or something. What do y'all think? Let's see. Let's go into our Tim Holtz stash and see if we can find something. It's a Kraft bag that doesn't have anything on the front of it. And I kind of like this, little things. Will it fit? By golly, it will. Give it a little ink. Everything gets a little ink around here. And a little glue. Just in case. Little things. And it fits right in our journal card, which does need something. But that will I'll determine what I put on there when I decide what journal I'm going to put it in. So what do you think? Do you like these? I think they're absolutely adorable. I think when you're in a pinch and you don't have the ones to buy, or if you don't want to spend the money to buy these, I mean, why buy what you can make? And the handmade ones are much cuter. My dog just busted in the office. Hold on a second. He was not having any part of the door being closed. So anyway, these are the ones we made. 2 together, 2 in the previous video. And my Amazon ones. And I think they're just adorable. So don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see. Do you like tutorials, craft with me videos, flip throughs? I do a lot of flip throughs. I'm having a blast, and I just want to continue to bring you guys along with me. So until the next video, take care.